You check your bank account at the end of a totally average month, and the balance practically feels like a typo. You didn't buy anything crazy, and there were no massive unexpected emergencies to drain your cash. You run through the mental checklist to justify where it all went. Trips to the grocery store, casual dinners out, maybe upgrading a freezing phone. It all feels like standard, baseline living. But that's exactly where the math breaks down. You're doing the things everyone else does, spending money on what feels like the bare minimum for a modern lifestyle, and yet you are left with absolutely zero financial traction. The reality most people don't spot until they're drowning in credit card statements is that a lot of the stuff we consider normal isn't priced that way anymore. The everyday conveniences we expect to be cheap have been quietly loaded with massive luxury premiums. Unless you actively sit down and ruthlessly audit these stealthy new costs, you will stay trapped in this cycle. You'll watch your paycheck evaporate on overpriced garbage while your actual wealth stays entirely flat. Take fast food, for example. Historically, the entire point of a drive-thru was the economic trade-off. You accepted lower quality meals in exchange for speed and extreme affordability. That value proposition is completely dead. Today, you're shelling out $15 or $20 to eat lukewarm fries out of the paper bag in your car. You are paying premium prices for food that hasn't improved in quality, rivaling what a decent sit-down meal cost just a few years ago. And if you do step up to an actual restaurant, the math gets even worse. You order a couple of entrees, maybe an appetizer, tack on a few drinks and the tip, and suddenly a casual Tuesday night dinner for two hits $100. Doing this multiple times a week scales into thousands of dollars burned every single year. You're trading a massive chunk of your income for an experience that vanishes the moment you pay the check, leaving zero asset value behind. These constant micro-leaks quietly drain the initial capital you need to start investing. You end up trading your ability to build long-term wealth for the fleeting convenience of someone else cooking your dinner. This chart shows how invisible digital drains sneak up on you. What looks like 5 flat, cheap $10 subscription lines quickly compounds together into a massive single mountain of annual expense. And when you map out your actual consumption against that mountain, you find a massive gap. You're paying close to $1,000 a year, but you're only interacting with a tiny fraction of what you're buying. It's the exact same consumer inertia that keeps people paying $150 a month for cable packages they never watch, or dropping $600 a year on gym memberships they haven't touched since January. Then you have the tech treadmill. People line up every year to finance $1,000 phones that are almost functionally identical to the ones currently in their pockets. The basic utility of communication has been completely buried under heavy marketing pushing superficial upgrades. Between stacked subscription models and deliberate planned obsolescence, modern commerce is mathematically engineered to quietly siphon off any excess cash you generate, long before you have the chance to put it into a savings account. But the real wealth killers are the large-scale macro anchors. Take the multi-generational obsession with driving a brand new vehicle off the lot. The moment the tires touch public pavement, 20% of the car's value instantly evaporates. Because most people finance these purchases, you enter a brutal negative yield equation. You are paying high interest rates to a bank for the privilege of holding onto an asset that gets measurably less valuable every single day. The exact same logic applies to designer clothing or financing a luxury couch. You are paying astronomical markups strictly for a brand logo or the ability to post a perfectly curated living room aesthetic on social media. It's the identical trap driving people to book elaborate international vacations they can't afford. The pressure to curate an envy-inducing life for your peers ends up costing you years of suffocating credit card interest. These purchases have almost nothing to do with actual utility. They are driven entirely by social insecurity, creating a permanent self-imposed ceiling that ensures your net worth never actually grows. So it leaves you with a very clear financial dichotomy. You can either spend your paycheck trying to look wealthy to complete strangers, or you can actually be wealthy. For the average earner, doing both is mathematically impossible. The strategy to fix this is incredibly straightforward. Opt out. Actively choose the 4-year-old used car. Cancel the ghost subscriptions. Keep your laptop and your phone until they physically break down and force you to replace them. There is real social friction to this choice. Your life will look significantly less impressive on your feeds. You won't have the shiniest car in the driveway or the most exotic travel photos to share with your coworkers. But you need to reframe what treating yourself actually means. treating yourself shouldn't mean financing a depreciating consumer good. It should mean purchasing the absolute freedom of never having to stress about money again. Recognizing the inflated cost of what everyone else calls normal is your greatest advantage. Actively refusing to play the status game is the definitive first step to keeping the money you earn and building lasting generational wealth. You get to the end of a completely normal month, log into your bank account, and the balance is baffling. You didn't buy a boat, you didn't book a luxury cruise, you bought groceries, picked up a few casual meals, maybe replaced a slow phone. These are regular expenses, yet somehow the money you work 40 hours a week to earn is barely covering the baseline of a middle-class existence. There is an invisible drain on your income. Without any single catastrophic purchase, your baseline wealth relentlessly melts away into nothing, month after month. We are paying premium prices for items that haven't actually improved, carried along by the sheer momentum of normalized expectations. We're going along with it because it's what everyone else does. Until we recognize the psychological traps disguising overpriced garbage as mandatory living expenses, we are going to perpetually feel broke. The first trap is convenience. Take fast food. The entire premise of the drive-thru was built on two pillars. It was fast, and it was strictly, reliably cheap. That 15-cent price tag represented the whole point of the industry. You traded restaurant quality for extreme affordability. Today, you are paying $20 for a meal handed to you in a paper bag through a car window. The quality remains exactly what it always was, but the price tag matches what a sit-down dinner cost less than a decade ago. We do the same thing at regular restaurants. A routine Tuesday night dinner out for two people easily hits $80 to $100 after drinks and a tip. Do that twice a week and thousands of dollars evaporate from your annual budget for food you could have easily made in your own kitchen. Our digital habits operate on the exact same inertia. Everyone has Netflix, Hulu, Disney+, HBO, and Amazon Prime. At $15 a piece, you are bleeding nearly $1,000 a year for platforms you barely watch. We have effectively recreated the monolithic media bundles of the past. We pay for bloated packages out of the vague fear that we might miss a single exclusive show. We prioritize minor conveniences and avoid the mild discomfort of canceling unused services, like that gym membership you haven't touched in 6 months. That fear of admitting defeat keeps us paying for habits that actively destroy our financial baseline. The second trap relies on our fear of falling behind. Every single year, people line up to buy a $1,000 piece of glass to replace the perfectly functional phone already sitting in their pocket. Tech companies engineer their devices to become obsolete faster, marketing minor processor bumps as mandatory upgrades. We hand over small fortunes to feel current, even though the old phones scrolled social media and sent text messages identically well. This chart reveals the mathematical damage of that cycle. The bars show the 5-year cost of annual phone upgrades. Compare that to buying one device. The diverging line represents compound returns earned by investing the difference instead of giving it to tech giants. This premium illusion bleeds right into our homes. We buy specialized pasta makers, $400 blenders for amateur smoothies, and designer cleaning products that use the exact same chemical compounds as the generic brand sitting one shelf down. Clothing is one of the most visible examples. A plain cotton t-shirt costs $10. Print a tiny luxury logo on the chest, and the price jumps to $200. They are cut from the same fabric and likely sewn in the same region. You pay a massive markup for brand recognition. The retail fashion industry relies on long-standing pressure to buy perceived status through apparel, despite unchanging utility. We willingly absorb these markups, often going into credit card debt for logos that do not improve the actual quality of the item in any measurable way. The final trap does the most long-term damage. We make our largest financial commitments entirely to project a false image of success to strangers. Taking a week off used to mean booking a budget hotel and exploring a nearby city. Now, the pressure to curate Instagram-worthy experiences drives people to finance elaborate international trips, spending the next 12 months paying off the interest for 7 days of social media clout. Travel was once an accessible experience, focused on the destination. You went to see a place, not to prove you could afford a specific aesthetic. But the ultimate status purchase is the brand new car. It is the single worst normalized financial decision a person can make. This graph tracks a new vehicle's true value. The moment you drive off the lot, it plummets by 20%. Simultaneously, accumulating interest payments widen the gap. You're paying a premium for an asset aggressively destroying its own value. Status spending is a symptom of deep insecurity. People are putting their living room couches on financing plans and paying interest on furniture, entirely to keep up appearances for neighbors who don't actually care. Truly wealthy individuals rarely play this game. They drive older cars and ignore designer labels because they have nothing to prove to their peers. The luxury cars, the massive watches, and the designer purses you see every day are usually a mirage. They are often heavily financed accessories, masking zero savings and a complete lack of future planning. We've used consumer debt as the foundation of this lifestyle for decades, financing the appearance of wealth while eroding the ability to actually build it. You face a binary choice. You can prioritize looking wealthy to the people around you today, or you can make the quiet, unpopular decisions required to actually be wealthy tomorrow. Keep your phone until it actually breaks. Buy a 3-year-old car and let the first owner take the depreciation hit. Audit your spending, cut the vanity expenses, and redirect that capital into investments. Real financial security provides a stability that no amount of status spending can replicate.